I have the Eachine Mini F16 out this morning, and I'm going to be flying it with the TX16S. I have it in what should be beginner mode. We'll see. I have my certified pre-owned sticker on the back and my QC sticker on the front. After the repair, I have deemed it airworthy. So, let's see which direction the wind is coming from. There we go. Let's see if we can get it in the air. And we have it in the air. Throttle back a bit. Oh man, the controls are so much smoother with so much more resolution. It's going to take a minute to get used to it. Sweet. Yeah, just no comparison between one of these multi-protocol transmitters and the stock transmitter. Look at that. And it's cold out here this morning. It's about 24 degrees Fahrenheit, which I don't know, is that about -3 Celsius? But the sun's out, so it's not too bad. Woo! Almost hit myself there. That's crazy. Alright, so let's see. Can we do that high alpha thing again? Let's see. Look at that. Is that cool or what? That was just about standing on its tail. Let's see if we could do that again a little bit closer. I keep trying to use my rudder. There's no rudder on this. Yeah, this is a lot of fun with a hobby grade transmitter. Isn't that cool? It does take some getting used to, you know, with the change in resolution on the sticks. Okay, so I wanted to perform this flight in beginner mode, and then we will perform the next flight in intermediate mode. Alright, let's do a speed run again. Pretty fast little F16. It is very well behaved in beginner mode. Ooh, watch out for the cactus and the scrub. Watch the ground. Isn't that cool? It has a pretty wide flight envelope. I'm really surprised.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4,
Isn't that cool?
3, 2,
Okay, so this time,
timer 1 lap.
if the wind doesn't shift on me, I think we'll bring it over here on the road and see if we can land it on the main road. So let's bring it back around. Sun at our back. Plop. All right, so that was a lot of fun, and it's like a different plane with the hobby grade transmitter compared to the toy transmitter. Of course, man, you have so much more resolution after flying it with the stock transmitter. It's kind of hard to get used to because you've really got to push the sticks so much further to get it to react than you do with the stock transmitter. And I have a 360 milliamp hour Lipo in it for that flight, and I'm going to put another 360 in it. And I don't know, it did seem when I had it in expert mode last time out that it was pretty nose heavy. It's hard to tell though, since you don't have a full manual mode on this, but seems to fly great with the 360, which is 1 gram lighter than the 400s that came with it. So we'll put another 360 in it and throw it in the air. Okay, we are going to put it in intermediate gyro mode this time and see how well it performs. See if having more resolution on the elevator with this hobby grade transmitter takes the twitchiness out of the elevator in intermediate mode. So let's get it in the air. Throttle back a bit. It still feels a bit twitchy, and the pitch axis even with the hobby grade transmitter. Yeah, it definitely does. Alright, let's see here. No, did you see that? I don't know if it was too far away for you to see it, but it's still doing that strange stuff with the roll. I tried to roll it there to the left, and as soon as it got completely inverted, the gyro stopped it and wouldn't let it roll any further. So it just rolled over inverted, and that's all I could do with it. So it looks like sometimes it will, in intermediate mode, it will let you roll the plane, and other times it won't. So I don't know what's going on with that. Let's try it again. Nope, see, it wouldn't let me roll it. I had full left deflection on the stick there, and it just started to roll, and then it just stopped. Yeah, so I don't know what's going on with that gyro in intermediate mode. Okay, so I just put it back in beginner mode.
3 minutes.
Yeah, so it seems to have some issues in intermediate mode for some reason, as well as expert mode. The gyro is just rock solid in beginner mode, and even with the hobby grade transmitter, I think you need to tone down the elevator a little bit in intermediate mode. You do have a lot less restriction on the angle in intermediate mode, but even with the hobby grade transmitter, the pitch axis was a bit twitchy. So that would be my recommendation for this plane, even with a hobby grade transmitter. If the control linkages on the servos for the elevator are in the outer hole, I don't know if they are or if they aren't, but if they're in the outer hole, then I would move those to the inner hole. And I already have the linkage on the control horns in the outermost hole. So that would be my recommendation, and I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to cut out a little section of foam there in the middle. If the control rods on the servo control horn are in the outer holes, move them to the inner holes and then glue that section of foam back in so that the elevator isn't so twitchy in intermediate gyro mode. Excellent flying plane in beginner mode though. Even in the pitch axis, it's nice and smooth with the stock transmitter or with the hobby grade transmitter. Much more so with the hobby grade transmitter than with the stock transmitter. There's just no comparison in the amount of resolution that you have on the sticks. I want to bring it back through here and try a high alpha again. That looks so cool, I think. Alright, let's see here.
30 seconds.
Isn't that cool?
20 seconds.
I love that. See how slow?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Timer 1 elapsed.
Okay, so let's bring it back around and land it on the road. And, and I tested the voltage on the cell from the last flight, and it was at 4 volts. Let's go around. I gotta quit talking and pay attention. I didn't like that. Boy, that gyro just makes it float when you cut power. Alright, so let's try this again. See if we can get a decent landing out of it. There we go. Whoa, that gyro just wants to keep it in the air when you're coming down. So, but that's a lot of fun. All right, so what I will do, now that we've also tested it out with the hobby grade transmitter in beginner mode and in the intermediate mode, is I will meet you back at the hangar and I will give you my conclusion on this little F16 Flying Falcon. See you back at the hangar. Okay, so how did you like those flights? No crashes this time, and my repair held up just fine. Flying this with the stock transmitter and in beginner mode, if you move those linkages to the outermost holes on the elevators, extremely smooth, extremely well behaved, and the gyro is just rock solid in beginner mode on the stock transmitter, and also with the TX16S. Took about half of the flight to get used to all the additional resolution that you have on the sticks flying this compared to the stock transmitter. It was still a little twitchy in the elevator with the TX16S, which kind of surprised me. I thought it would smooth it out quite a bit. It did smooth it out some, but it still just has way too much movement on the elevator in an intermediate gyro mode. And there were a couple other weird things with the intermediate gyro mode level.
So I like the beginner mode on it. You can use the stunt button to do loops and rolls, and it does those very well, but the gyro really interferes with aerobatics in the intermediate mode. When I was trying to do loops with it in the first video, but as soon as you got to the apex of the loop and you were starting to, and you were leveled out and you were inverted, the gyro would flip it back over. So it was very difficult to get a good loop out of it. And then sometimes in the intermediate mode it would allow me to do a roll, and then sometimes it would stop it when it was inverted. I could not push it over in the roll any further than being completely inverted, and then I had to roll it back over. So yeah, that was kind of strange. I don't know what's going on with that. So the intermediate gyro mode is nice in that you have less restrictive angle when you're flying it around. I do want to soften up the elevator for that. Beginner mode's fantastic, no problems whatsoever. And the expert mode I just don't care for at all. I don't care for the expert mode. I wish they would stop that and just put expert as a full manual mode on these gyro planes. I think that is the best way to do it. And it certainly makes gyro aircraft much more attractive to people who normally fly in manual mode, not gyro mode. So I hope they think about doing that in the future. The micro warbirds were that way, and I absolutely love flying those, especially the P-51 in full manual mode. It's just an absolute blast. You know, I like not having any interference from the gyro. But one of the funnest things that I was able to perform with this little F-16 was really slow approaches and passes doing high alpha. It has an extremely wide flight envelope, so I definitely recommend this as a beginner park jet, or for someone who has a lot of experience. It's a lot of fun flying around, you know, and it's pretty quick. It has a very wide flight envelope, and it's made out of EPP foam, so it's extremely durable, even though I did manage to crack it. But yeah, I don't have any qualms about recommending this as a beginner park jet, because you can fly it pretty slow. And if you're new to park jets, then you can fly this around easily at 50 to 60% throttle. So yeah, it's a good beginner. It's good for intermediate level pilots, and it's good for advanced level pilots. And I consider myself an intermediate level pilot, and I had an absolute blast with it. I do like the weight of the 360 milliamp hour lipos over the 400s, being a gram lighter on the nose. And after my first flight, I put the battery on the voltage meter, and it had just a little bit over 4 volts in the cell after that flight. So you're going to get tons of flight time out of this little plane too. So anyway, that's the conclusion of my review. I want to thank Banggood again for sending this for review. It's an awesome little F-16 Flying Falcon. It looks great in the air, and that profile in the sky looks awesome. So I will have links to this in the show notes, links to parts in the show notes, because I'm gonna order a 10-pack of these little 2.5 inch bullnose props. This is the last one I have, and they sell them in 10 packs. So I'm going to buy a 10 pack. I will have a link to the 10 packs in the show notes. I will have links to spare batteries in the show notes, and they also had links to the control horns, spare control horns, just in case you happen to snap one when you're moving your linkage. So I'll have links to those in there, as well as the RadioMaster TX16S transmitter. If you want to, you know, eventually, if you don't have a multi-protocol transmitter and you would like to use one, I mean, that's my primary transmitter now, so you can use it to fly a lot of these little micro ready-to-fly aircraft, and it's a different aircraft in the air with a hobby-grade transmitter than it is with the stock ones. So anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the air,